Hi, welcome students to Module 4, Lesson 9. This is the concept development portion of the lesson, and our learning objective today is I can find a fraction of a measurement and solve word problems. Let's go ahead and take a look at problem number 1. This problem asks us to find 1/4 of a pound and then to say what that is in a different unit in ounces. So the larger unit here is pounds and the smaller unit is ounces. We know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So what the problem is asking us is it's asking us to tell them how many ounces is equal to 1/4 of a pound. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my units to say ounces instead of pounds. So I'm going to look for not 1/4 of 1 pound, but I'm going to look for 1/4 of 16 ounces. Now you might remember that I've told you in the past that in math the word of means to multiply. So we're going to replace the word of with a multiplication sign here. So what we're doing is we're going to do 1/4 times 16. Now this problem should feel comfortable since last week we learned how to do this. And you can do 1 times 16 across in the numerator and then put it over the denominator of 4, and then you would get the answer of 16 over 4. Or maybe you can do it the way that I prefer to do it, which was the other strategy, which is to find 1/4 times 16, 1 times 16 over 4, and then to look for a common factor that both the numerator and denominator have in common, or one of the numerators. And I know that I can divide 4 by 4 evenly, and I can divide 16 by 4 evenly. So when I do that, my new equation turns into 1 times 16 divided by 4, which is 4, over 4 divided by 4, which is 1, which gets me 4. Another way you could solve this problem is by doing a tape diagram. So you could draw out a tape diagram and put the total as 16 ounces. We would break it into 4 equal parts because of the denominator 4. And then we're going to try and identify what 1/4 is. And we know that we know that 4 units equals 16. So we're going to take 16, divide it by 4, and that's going to give us each of our unit amounts, which is 4, 4, 4, 4, because 4, 8, 12, and 16 equal our total, and one of those fourths is equal to 4 ounces. Alright, so now we're looking at number 2. It's asking us 3/4 of a foot. How many inches is that? So the first thing you'll notice is that feet are bigger than inches. So we're going to go ahead and write 3/4 of 1 foot. What is that? Well, something that you know is that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. You need to know that to be able to do the conversion. But they're not asking for how many inches are in 1 whole foot. They're just asking for 3/4 of a foot. So let's go ahead and cross out the foot and rename the foot into the unit they want us to use, which is inches. So we have 3/4 of 12 inches. And we're trying to figure out, what is that? Well, remember in math, when you see an of, you can change it to a multiplication sign. And now we can solve this equation. 3/4 times 12. And we can either do the math all the way across, or we can use the other strategy of trying to figure out if there is something that you can divide both the numerator and denominator by. I know that 4 goes into 4 one time. I know that 4 goes into 12 3 times. So my new equation will be 3 times 3 now instead of 12 over 1, which equals 9. My answer is 3/4 of a foot is 9 inches. Now, if you would like to check that with a tape diagram, then that's easy enough to do as well. Just draw your tape diagram. You're going to put your total amount, 12 inches. You're going to break your 12 inches up into the amount that the denominator is asking, 4 equal parts. And then you know that all 4 of these parts equal 12. So all you need to do is divide 12 by 4 and you'll get 3. That means each single unit is worth 3. Now remember, the question is asking what is 3/4 of 12 inches. So if we look at just 1, 2, 3 of the 4, that's a total of 3, 6, 9 inches. Please look at number 3 with me. It says Mr. Corsetti spends 2/3 of every year in Florida. How many months does he spend in Florida each year? So we know that he spends 2/3 of 1 year in Florida. But the question isn't asking how many years, how many years. They don't want the answer in years. It says how many months. So right away, let's go ahead and cross out our year and replace it with the months unit, which would be, what is 2/3 of 12 months? Because you have to know that there's 12 months in 1 year in order to make that conversion. Okay, what's the next thing we're going to do? Remember that thing in math where when you see an of, you can replace it with a multiplication sign? Let's do that. So now we have the equation 2 times 12 over 3. Now I'm going to look for the cross-canceling opportunities. I know that I can divide 3 by 3, and I know that I can divide 12 by 3 to get 1 and 4 here, which would change my equation to 2 times 4, which equals 8 over 1, which would equal 8. So the answer is 8 months. 8 months of the year is how much time Mr. Corsetti spends in Florida. Oops. Now if you want to again look at the tape diagram of that, you're going to show a tape diagram. The total is 12 months. We're breaking it into 3 equal parts, 2/3. He spends 2 of those 3 parts. And then we have to figure out what each of those units is. Well, that's 12. Total of 12 months divided by 3. It's going to give you 4. So each unit is equal to 4 months. And it said he spends 2/3. So this 1/3 and this 1/3 each has a value of 4 months. He spends a total of 8 months. Well, boys and girls, that is it for the concept development portion of the lesson today. Go ahead and try your homework out now. And if it helps, rewatch the video. And if it doesn't help, then come and check in with me Thursday at 2 o'clock. We're going to go over some of the answers, and I can answer questions, or your classmates can help answer questions at that time. And remember, you have 2 math assignments due this week: the application problem that hopefully you did Monday, and hopefully I was able to check in with you Tuesday. And then this homework assignment, remember it's due by Friday, and try to get it in by 3 o'clock for credit. Okay, good luck. See you guys later.